Good day peeps, my name is Scripps and welcome back to another speed paint. Now this time around we're kind of diverting away from what we usually do because it's not Hollow Knight, because apparently that's all it takes to become kind of like my regular main thing, that is if it's anything Hollow Knight related. But this isn't Hollow Knight related, this is related to something else, something that is deeply rooted into my childhood and something that I'm still excited about. Now I know the announcement of Sword and Shield or Pokemon Sword and Shield it's kind of behind us now. It's been out, or the release trailer has been out for a while. People have had their speculations. I mean, the Pokemon channels out there are still going wild, but like amongst the mainstream, we're kind of like starting to dim down from it. Especially amongst like average gaming YouTubers, we've started to kind of like move on. I even think that I've done a video, I think I even made a speed paint quite some time ago, where I actually drew the concept evolution for one of the starter Pokemons, which I think was going to be the fire starter one, the bunny. But because I love character design and because I've actually been getting into Pokemon a little bit, I'm kind of considering if I should just boot up my good old Nintendo DS and then play some some Pokemon Platinum, because that was my favorite game of the series. I'm just wondering if I should get back into that and then just play through Pokemon all over again, but I know it'll take so much time to get through. But you know, I've just been getting into a little bit of a Pokemon craze, so I want to draw some Pokemon character designs. More specifically, I want to draw some Pokemon, or some Pokemon that could fit into the universe of not just Pokemon, but the new region that it's gonna take place in, which I don't know the name of it exactly. I don't know the name of the region that's in Sword and Shield, but I know that it's heavily inspired by England, Great Britain, and Scotland. So that's what I'm gonna take my primary inspiration from. Also, apparently it's called the Galar region. I just looked that up, so I won't see any of you guys in the comments just reminding me. You don't need to take your time out of your day to do that. Don't worry, I got it right here. But to kick off this video, then I wanted to first off create a design based on Scotland. And the reason that I'm calling it Scotland, and even though I know it's still part of Great Britain, then that's because I think it was very specifically like Scottish inspiration that the main character or the protagonist we're playing as is from. I think that's how it is, at least because that was one of the first like memes to arise after the release of the trailer. Just like this little Scottish girl approaching these small British girls and just speaking like freaking William Wallace just liberated Scotland from England. But if there was anything specifically Scottish I was thinking about, then I couldn't really think of anything other than ghosts. And I know that to Americans that might sound a bit weird, maybe because they don't know a lot about Scottish culture. Maybe I'm the one who's completely in the wrong. But what I, as a Danish person, know about Scottish culture, then is the fact that they've got a crap ton of like ghost stories and mythological creatures up there in folk tales. So it's very interesting. And the more specific one that I wanted to focus on was the Kelpie, just because it seems near perfect for like a legendary water type Pokemon that you could find in like a big lake up north or something. That would be so cool. But yeah, in case you don't know what the Kelpie is, then it's basically a kind of a water ghost, a water creature, a mythological creature, of course, that looks like a horse. Or no, it looks like a beautiful woman, right? Yeah, it looks like a beautiful... No, there's different tales of it, actually, if I remember right. There's one where the Kelpie kind of looks like a woman, and then there's one where it looks like a beautiful, like, white horse. But then once you get onto its back, then it will ride directly into, like, into the lake and pull you down with it and kill you. And that's the way it kind of like manipulates people to lure them into the lake. And that's basically the identifiable factor, because that's the same with both the woman and the horse. They kind of lure people into the lake in some way and kill them. But yeah, it's one of the more famous stories, and I didn't want to make one just of the Loch Ness Monster, because the Loch Ness Monster, we don't really know anything about how that would look. There's no real, like, interesting describer of it, other than the fact that it looks kind of like one of those old dinosaurs. Which there's already kind of like Pokemon that look like that, so I wouldn't really want to put too much focus into that. Instead, I would like to focus on this legendary, beautiful aquatic water ghost horse that could be kind of like a unique legendary, but not the main focus of the game, you know, just kind of like one of those unique legendaries, kind of like Darkrai. I thought that would be cool. But as always, then this is not just a video, this is actually somewhat of an interactable thing that I want you guys to participate in, because at this point in my channel I still read the comments all the time. So I want you guys to participate. I want you guys to tell me, if you were to give this a type, a specific Pokemon type, which would you give? What would you call the Pokemon? And how would you change up the design if you had any cool ideas for like this Kelpie inspired design? For me myself, I kind of thought that it would be like a ghost water legendary. And as for name, then I kind of thought it would be cool if it was called Kelporius or Kelperia or something like that, kind of like Palkia. But that's just my opinion. Once again, you add to it. But if there was anything that I would change in the design right now, then it would be the horn mostly. I wish I had exaggerated the horn more, given it kind of a more unique, like, unicorn horn shape. And that's mostly because the unicorn is the national animal. It's interesting, it's not an animal that exists, but it's still the national animal of Scotland, so I thought I could have exaggerated that a little more to give homage to that. But I still think that I did the flames and stuff on the legs pretty well. Or, well, it's not flames, it's more like ghostly veil or something like that. But just the same, I've been kind of looking at different ghost Pokemon and I've been imitating it, and I thought I did somewhat well. Instead of giving it a normal horsetail, I thought it would look well with sort of like this Goldeen-like fishtail, but I don't know how that quite worked out. And then instead of like normal steed hair, I decided to give it kelp hair, but I don't know, it might look a little too much like a musician from the 80s. That's just, I don't know, you tell me. But anyways, I want your guys' opinion on it, but before we actually leave off this video, then I want to create another design, because I didn't want to just make another video where I just drew one drawing, so I actually drew two for this video, or technically 4 if you count it. Now this next one I didn't really base off of anything. I didn't base it off of any well-known mystery tale or any well-known like lore, but that wasn't the intention of this video either. It wasn't the intention that I was gonna turn mythological creatures into Pokemon, but I just wanted to create another ghost design because apparently I'm in love with ghost types. Or at least I like ghost-themed Pokemon. It's still up to you guys what type of types you would assign to each one. But in short, then I just wanted a Pokemon that had at least multiple stages of evolution in some way. I didn't want to just create a legendary and leave it at that. I also wanted to create a more simple Pokemon and then see if I could evolve that design and exaggerate it in ways to like make it more cool and interesting as we like get higher up in the levels, because that's usually how it is. It's usually the last evolution that looks coolest, while it's usually the first one that either looks the cutest or just the most innocent. Which was a design philosophy I was completely fine with, so I started off creating the first very cute design, and what this was gonna be initially was that it was gonna be kind of like a mushroom ghost in a way. As you can see, it kind of has this like mushroomy hat, but it would be like a shy Pokemon. It would be a very shy but elegant Pokemon, and it would basically be hiding under its hat the entire time and have these two big black and yellow eyes on top that could scare people away, and that would be like the lore that was written in the Pokédex somewhere. So it would be in groups and then it would just light up in the darkness kind of like a jack-o'-lantern and scare people away, even though they're the most adorable, cutesy little things in the world. And I also decided that they should have this little stone with them, which I initially just thought was cute, but I actually found out a really cool way to incorporate that into one of the later designs. Now when I reached the second evolution, I was actually still kind of in that idea that this was going to be like a mushroom-based design, or yeah, mushroom plant-based design, but what actually kind of drove me away from that idea was just looking up Pokemon and seeing, oh my god, this is just Lilligant. Like there's so many Pokemon that are already kind of like very elegant leaf types. So I didn't want to just add to the pile of Pokemon that look too similar to others. I've seen many memes with Pokemon that look too similar to each other. So it was around the coloring stage, around second and third evolution, that I changed my mind about that. But yeah, the second evolution is the one that I'm probably the least proud of, probably because it's like most I think this is actually the way most evolution designs go. The fact that you like imagine this small, very cute thing, and then the grown-up, very cool thing, but you don't really think of the transition between the two as much, which is why usually, this is also like a reoccurring thing we see in Pokemon, it's usually the second evolution that's the least impressive one. Like seriously, think of all the original first starter Pokemons. I bet you remember Charizard and Charmander, but I bet you don't remember the one in between. Or the same with Bulbasaur or Blastoise, you don't remember the one in the middle. But the end design, or the final evolution, was the one that I really ended up being proud of, because I decided to both get a reference from like the region they were in, and at the same time make it a cool, unique design. And what I decided to do was turn this kind of mushroom cap into like a queen crown, and then create kind of like a royal queen Pokemon. And then the little rock, or the little stone crystal thing that I decided to give the first evolution, would be sitting on top of the crown, as kind of like the big crown jewel on top of the crown. And this design, compared to the Kelpie design, I'd say is also a lot more malleable, I guess you could say. It's just, it doesn't scream any specific type. Maybe it screams a little bit of ghost Pokemon, but that's it. It doesn't really scream water type like the Kelpie one does. So you guys could help me assign any type to this. I thought it would be kind of cool if it was like a ghost psychic Pokemon maybe. Because, you know, kind of the way that she's psychic because she doesn't use force herself since she's the queen. So instead she lets the Sauron crystal on top of her head just hypnotize everyone for her, and she kind of gets into the mind of people that way. So I bet you could have some really cool psychic powers. That, or she could be steel because of the, like, crown elements, but I don't know. There's many ways you could play with this, so I want to hear you guys' opinion and ideas for it. But anyways, I think that was enough for this video. I got through 4 Pokemon in one video, and I still reached around the like 11 to 12 minute mark. I'm impressed by that. I do not know how I did that. Maybe I spoke too fast, and I just instead confused everyone. I hope that wasn't the case. But yeah, let me know which one of these designs you liked the most, or even if you have some ideas that are completely out of the box, like maybe removing the one in between of these purple Pokemon, so you would kind of have like a 2-stage evolution instead of a 3-stage evolution. Just think of any way you could optimize the designs, and I would love to hear you guys' ideas on it. It's kind of like an interactive process between me and you, and I would love to like really work into that and maybe even get you guys more and more involved into these speed paints as time goes. But anyways, that was all for this Pokelicious episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to share your stories about Pokemon or ideas and opinions below, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.